Sudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, texts 1 and 2. Arjuna uvacha prakritim purusham chaiva kshetram kshetragnameva cha etat veditum ichchami gnanam gneyam cha keshava. Sri Bhagavan uvacha idam shariram kaunteya kshetram ityabhidhiyate etat yo vetti tam prahuhu kshetragna iti tadvidaha. Now this is a new chapter, 13th chapter. The first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about graduating from karma to bhakti. And the second six chapters is purely about bhakti, devotional service. And the last six chapters, starting from 13 through 18, it is about graduating from gnana to bhakti. So karma to bhakti, pure bhakti, and then gnana to bhakti. So the middle six chapters, or at the end of the middle six chapters, which is the 12th chapter, which we discussed previously, Krishna concluded the description of Bhakti Yoga. And now he is starting to describe Gnana Yoga, and then coming to Bhakti again. Culminating Gnana is Bhakti. Then one may ask, if Bhakti is the culmination of the yoga ladder, then why Gnana is presented after the section of Bhakti, after the 12th chapter? So, understanding this connection between the Bhakti section and the Gnana section will help reveal the reason. Like, for example, in 12.7, Krishna promised to save his devotees from the path of birth and death. Teshamaham samudhatta mrityu samsara sagarat. And chapters 13 through 18 fulfills that promise. How? By supplying the philosophical knowledge necessary to extricate oneself from material entanglement. So Krishna provides all means, including knowledge. Gnanam chayad ahaitukam. Bhakti means automatically knowledge is revealed in the heart. One does not have to extraneously endeavor for bhakti. By dint of, for gnana rather. By dint of bhakti, gnana is automatically revealed in the heart. Not only gnana, but vairagya also. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitah Janayati Asu Vairagyam Gnanam Chayad Ahaitukam. So there was this man who was believer in Jesus. And in that town there was this church. He was living in that church. It's a little high-rise building. And so there was a big warning that was sounded in that town that there was going to be a huge hurricane, thunderstorm, and there'll be floods, and people are requested to order to vacate immediately. But he said, no, 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 Jesus will take care of me. And he stayed put. And, the floods came, and people are going out of the town in droves. And this man kept on waiting. Jesus will come and save me. And then there was some people too who were trying to help people who were still caught up. They were going in these boats. Hey, come on, get onto the boat. And he said, no, 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 you carry on. Jesus will save me. And then he left. And then the water was going up and up and up. And he went up to the top floor, and the water was coming, and he was staying hardly afloat. And then there was even helicopter running. The government sends helicopters to pick up people who are about to drown. And the helicopter was, providing that rope, hang on to it. He said, no, 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 Jesus will save me. But finally, the water was so much that he got completely drowned and he passed away. But he asked Jesus when he met him in heaven, I thought you will come and save me. You did not. And Jesus said, oh, you fool, I sent 3 times for help. I wanted to help you. First time through a warning. Second time, I sent that boatman to pick you up. And third time, I even sent that helicopter to pick you up. What else I can do? So the point here is Krishna comes to the rescue of the devotee through various means, whether it is knowledge, whether it is material knowledge or spiritual knowledge, whether through reading Bhagavad Gita or hearing a lecture. Through various means, Krishna will come and help. So, knowledge is also one of the means, very important means. So, one should not try to isolate, oh, knowledge is different from bhakti. Knowledge given by Krishna is very integral part of bhakti. When one shows eagerness to go back to Krishna, Krishna provides the means, the tools. Like you are stuck in a well and there is no hope, dark well, and somebody comes and throws the rope. So you just hang on to it. So that rope is the means by which he can come out. But the person is the one who is throwing. The person is important. So when you surrender to Krishna and engage in his devotional service, Krishna will provide everything you need, whether it is gnana, whether it is vairagya, everything you need. So that's how one should look at it. So the gnana, particularly the gnana Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita, has its use in assisting our detachment from Maya, understanding how this world works, how I am different from this body. Without the touch of bhakti, both karma and gnana are useless. This is another reason why the discussion of bhakti comes in the middle of Bhagavad Gita, where it can remain in contact with both karma and gnana. So here you see Arjuna asks 6 questions to start this chapter. Prakritim purusham chaiva kshetram kshetragnameva cha gnanam gneyam etat veditum ichhami. I wish to understand about these 6 things. Now, what is the trigger for Arjuna's questions? Not particular trigger, just like a professor may come out and curious people may ask all kinds of questions to a genius being interviewed. Like you see Prabhupada giving lecture and at the end or during conversations, the devotees are inquisitive, asking all kinds of questions. So like that. So this shows the inquisitiveness of a human being. How one should be always inquisitive to ask about what matters as a human being. What matters as a human being is how we can make this life meaningful, how we can make this human body meaningful. But an animal cannot think beyond its body. Actually, you'll be surprised to know many people have difficulty in understanding that they are not this body. A few years ago, I had one satsang I attended, and at the end, there was one lady who was asking, oh, you're talking about soul and the body, but I believe I'm not the soul. I'm just the body. I'm just the total of what I appear. It's my one entity. The whole thing I appear, it's one entity. There is nothing else beyond this body. Then the question is why people cry and shout and exclaim when somebody dies, oh, he passed away. No, he's lying there right in front. Then who passed away? So intrinsically, we know that there is the body is not him. Something else is running the show. Even in modern scientific advancement, one of the scientists few years ago, few decades rather, William Penfield, he did an experiment by which he showed that this body is nothing but a hardware. There has to be somebody who uses that hardware. Like he connected different uh, nervous system to the the brain. He connected different wires and all that, and he was sending signals to the brain. And based on the brain signals, the hands were moving. And so he sent one signal to the brain, and the hand raised. And then he asked the person who was undergoing the experiment, hey, did you ask the hand to raise? He said no. And then the next time, he did not send any signal, and he said, can you raise your hand? He raised his hand. Who asked to raise your hand? I did. So that means in the first case, even though he did not ask the hand to raise, it raised because somebody else is controlling this hardware. In the second case, the soul is controlling the hardware. So, in other words, this body is a machine, and the soul is the user who uses that machine. Krishna also says that in Bhagavad Gita. Ishvarah sarvabhutanam hriddeshe tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. This body is like a yantra, and the soul has got onto this yantra, this machine, yantra rudhani, and he is going around directed by the super soul. The super soul directs the soul based on his desires. How he wanted to satisfy a particular desire, the super soul will remind him, hey, you wanted to become like this, you wanted to satisfy this desire, you wanted to obtain this. For this, you need to do this, go do this. Just like a child, a son or daughter, wants to become something in life. And the father will direct, oh, my dear son, my dear daughter, if you want to become like this, then you need to do this and this and this. You need to study this, you need to acquire this knowledge. And he will provide all the opportunities for his child to achieve that. This is exactly the Paramatma is doing. The Paramatma is providing all the opportunities for the soul to achieve what the soul wanted. But unfortunately, the soul seeks enjoyment separately from Krishna, which is only illusory enjoyment. But Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, he still provides. Krishna actually tries to counsel. It is not good for you. Just like a child, without knowing the dangers of driving on the freeway, without getting license, without trained, he wants to go. It is the duty of the parent to tell no, not go, to restrict him. So Krishna tries to counsel like that. But then we are like the child who goes out of the house, rejects the father, tries to do whatever he wants. But still, like a kind father, Krishna accompanies the soul and waits for the opportunity when the soul will turn towards him. But we continue to neglect Krishna and try to pursue our own path. And Krishna, out of his kindness, he gives us opportunity to satisfy our perverted desires until we realize, until we meet a pure devotee, and until we turn our face towards Krishna. So Arjuna's questions are very, very important, even though it may be as simple as knowing Kshetram Kshetragna, for example, Arjuna's third and fourth words he used. Kshetram means field, and Kshetragna means knower of the field. So, what is this field and knower of the field? It is nothing but the body and the soul. Like, for example, you will see sometimes a field which is dilapidated, not maintained, all kinds of weeds, it's deserted, nobody is there taking care. It looks so ugly, isn't it? But again, the next street you will find a similar field, a beautiful garden is there, beautiful flowers are there, fragrant flowers are there, nice sound of water. Why? What is the reason? Why one place is so ugly and deserted, full of weeds, and the other place is so nice, beautiful, fragrant? The difference is there is one place, there is the maintainer, the gardener who has taken charge, who is maintaining it day in and day out meticulously. Whereas the other place, there is nobody to care. All kinds of ugly things become, the place becomes the source or the residence of all kinds of ugly things. Similarly, this body, as long as the gardener is there, the soul is there to take care of the body, it fights off, it wards off all evil elements. And there is a outside attack, immediately the body fights to defend. But when the body is dead, when somebody dies, you see, immediately the body starts to decompose. Because the gardener is not there, the maintainer is not there, Kshetragna is not there. This is the difference. We always keep our temperature 98.4. Otherwise, the dead body, how cold it becomes. So, who is maintaining that temperature? So, the soul is doing all of this. So, this is Kshetragna, the knower of the field, whereas the body is the field. This is a simple way Krishna describes, the Vedic scriptures describe. There was one conversation with Srila Prabhupada in 1973 in London. One doctor had come to visit Srila Prabhupada and he was asking this question: Swamiji, can you scientifically prove that the soul exists? Or is it purely a matter of belief? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, it is a scientific fact. Our science is perfect because we are receiving knowledge from the perfect source, Krishna. And modern so called science is imperfect because the scientist's knowledge is received from imperfect sources. However great a scientist you may be, you have to admit that your senses are imperfect. So, imperfect senses can give only imperfect knowledge. What you are calling scientific knowledge is bogus because the men who have produced that knowledge are imperfect. How can you expect perfect knowledge from an imperfect person? And then the doctor is saying, oh, it's a question of degree, meaning it's a question of degree to which how imperfect you are. To that degree, that knowledge may be imperfect. And then Prabhupada said, my point is that if you are unable to give perfect knowledge, what is the use of taking knowledge from you? So, the and then Prabhupada says, And then the doctor says, yes, I accept that view, but how do you prove that the soul exists? And then Prabhupada says, our process of proof is you take knowledge in disciplic succession from a perfect person. We don't accept knowledge from a rascal. We accept knowledge from Krishna, the Supreme. I may be a rascal, but because I am receiving knowledge from the perfect source and repeating that, whatever I say is perfect. A child may be ignorant. He does not know what is what. But because he has learned that a certain article is called table, when he says, Father, this is a table, his words are perfect. Similarly, if you hear from the perfect person and believe that, then your knowledge is perfect. Krishna says, Tatha dehantara praptihi. After death, the spirit soul enters another material body. We accept it. We don't require proof from a so called scientist who is imperfect. So, in other words, Prabhupada's way of accepting this is based on the supreme scientist Krishna, who is perfect. There are many things which we cannot comprehend and understand with our tiny brain. For example, a frog in the well. A frog in the well can only accommodate the well, the size of the well. If somebody were to come and tell the frog, oh, there is this Atlantic Ocean. Oh, so how big is it? Oh, it is infinitely big, bigger than this well. And the frog cannot just comprehend. No, I won't accept it. Anything that doesn't fit in its tiny brain, its tiny logic, the frog doesn't accept. But it doesn't mean that Atlantic Ocean doesn't exist. It does exist. So just because you deny doesn't negate the existence of reality. Or the other example is accepting the father based on the authority of the mother. Without the authority of the mother, you cannot understand who your father is. Because even before you are born, the father and mother united. So, mother is the authority of the father. So, for things which are beyond your comprehension, you need to accept an authority. Even for modern knowledge, we accept the authority of the scientists, isn't it? For any matter, we have to accept an authority. So, why not accept the supreme authority? That is a perfect way of getting perfect knowledge. In fact, transcendental knowledge is obtained by accepting that authority. So, Krishna answers that question. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram iti abhidhiyate Etad yo vetti tam prahuhu kshetragna iti tadvidaha. This Shariram, this body is Kshetram, and one who knows this body, Etad yo vetti, or the knower of the body, is called the soul or the Kshetragna. So, very nice, simple way. Like you see, many statements in Bhagavad Gita you can extrapolate and understand scientifically. It's a matter of time. Like dehinosmin yadha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara. Tadha dehantara praptit dhiras tatra namuhyati. So you're finding difficulty to understand the soul will transmigrate to another body at the time of death. But Krishna gives a very logical thing to understand, commonsensical. Even in this body, you're transmigrating, isn't it? As a baby, you had a different body. As a small boy, you had a different body. As a young boy, you have a different body. As a middle aged man, as an old aged man, you have a different body. But you know you are the same person. So even within this life, you are transmigrating. That means your body is different from you. And that you never gets destroyed. na hanyate hanyamane sharire. And Krishna says, Aham bija pradah pita. So all these statements you take, logically apply. You will come to that proper conclusion. Krishna says, I am the source of every species. I am the seed giving father. Like you take your father, and that father has his father, and his father has his father, isn't it? It's quite logical. And Krishna is saying, I am the father of everyone. There has to be a source from whom everything is starting, and that is Krishna. So every statement in Bhagavad Gita you can accept directly, or you can do research and still come to the same conclusion. So a smart person accepts the knowledge given by Krishna. You cannot find a single defect in the whole of Bhagavad Gita. It is spoken 5,000 years ago, and still it is being read, it's being understood, it is being respected by all classes of people, both spiritualists and materialists. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada